Let's just relax and enjoy the class.
Okay, hi Zoe, you can start your lesson.
All right. My name is Zoe Clugston, and like I said, I just graduated high school. But art is like my passion. I love doing art. And one of my favorite mediums is watercolor, so that's what we're going to be starting with in this class. Um, yeah, so yeah, I'll switch my camera over and we can get started. Let me just okay. So all right. So this is going to be what we are painting with today. It is some nice mountains. Yeah, and I was going to start with some of the techniques that I will be using for this painting so we can go over how to paint it before starting. Um, so if you have some extra paper, another piece of paper to start with, would be great. So we can go over some of the techniques that I'm going to be using in the painting.
Zoe, can I say something? Can you
Yeah.
leave the image on the screen? Because some of them like to take a picture of what they're doing today,
Oh
so
yeah.
a reference. 如果大家要影相嘅，依家影相啦。今日畫嘅話係咁嘅。Yeah, you can just leave it on the table for them. Just give them a few seconds.
Thank you. Yeah, no worries.
Yeah, I think they're good. Thank you.
Okay, no worries. Also, if you ever want me to slow down or go over something again, I can totally do that. Just let me know. So this here is my watercolor palette. It's a little bit of a hodgepodge because my dad is also into watercolor, so we get tubes of paint and kind of make our own palettes. These are the two brushes that I will be using. One of them is a flat 12 and the other is around 10. And for the painting, we are only going to be using one color today because it's very simple. So the first technique that will be used in the painting is just a normal type of wash. So I have some water here, and you want to start by getting your brush like fairly wet, so it's like yeah, so it's wet. And to pick, I'm going to be taking a blue here and just getting it all over your brush so you can go like this. This is for the background, and the way that you get it to look more of like a gradient is by washing off your brush so it's just water and then dragging down the color. So you're getting a little bit of a lighter color and a darker color on the bottom. Yeah, so you can see there's two different type of like colors there where one is lighter and one is darker. And so this is what we're going to be doing for the background. The mountains are a very similar process, but instead of using the flat side of the brush, I'm going to be using it almost like a pencil in a way, where I'm keeping the flat side so it's straight like this and outlining what I want the mountain edges to look like. And this way you can keep the lines very crisp in what your mountains are. And then taking some more water onto your brush so you can drag the color from those lines to fill in the shape of the mountains. So you keep that nice edge while still coloring everything in, right? Yeah. So that is kind of the start of what we're going to be doing, and then I will go over the trees now. So the trees I'm using the round brush for, and the trees you want to keep your brush mostly dry. Well, not dry, but like not saturated, so you're not dripping water off your brush. You want to keep it so it's very like mostly pigment on your brush when you're doing trees. So I always start by doing the trunk of the tree like this, and then using the brush rather than going like this, you want to be doing little spots like this for the branches. So when you're going like this to make the tree look full, and also keeping like the texture of what the leaves will be, right? So this is how the trees are painted. Yeah. So that's what the trees look like there. Yeah, so those are the main techniques that we will be using for the painting. So it's fairly simple for the first lesson, as yeah, it's kind of just getting used to what watercolor kind of how it works and stuff. It's very go with the flow. Like you can't really rely on a lot of like straight lines and stuff in your watercolor. So going with the water and the paint as it flows is the most important thing. So you're yeah, it's very unpredictable, but it's a lot of fun to watercolor paint. Um yeah. So the other thing that we will be doing is going on top of things. So this is called wet on, called that like as a technique. And it's where you take your brush over something, like you can see these mountains are dry, and you go over it with another color, same color in this case, and you're adding in a shadow to the mountain on one side of it. So you're adding texture into it. Yeah, like this. So it's adding like depth to your mountains, right? Yeah. Is there anything that you'd like me to go over in more detail before we start the bigger painting? No, all right. Then we will be starting on this piece of paper. This is a 9x12 sheet of paper, like watercolor paper. And I start by taping down my pieces of paper, and this helps the paper not to buckle. And it helps it keep some straight lines, like for the edges of your page. So I tape down the paper that I'm working on so it stays flat.
Excuse me, the paper is what size?
9x11 or 9x12, sorry. But any size of paper really works.
AP size. This
Hmm?
is AP size.
Pardon?
the background, the paper size is
This one,
A3.
it's the same size as this paper.
Okay, A3 size.
And um yeah,
Thank you.
okay. No worries. Yeah, so after taping up your page, this means that it'll keep your paper flat. And it also gives you these nice edges that are on this page. So you can see that. Yeah. So this painting only needs one color of paint that you're using. So you can pick whatever color you're wanting to use. I'm going to be using blue, like the reference. Yeah, and we'll get started. So the first step is to paint the background, which is we're going to be using this technique that we started, or that we were using, where you get your brush very saturated with like lots of pigment at first, and using lots of water to blend it out. Yeah, so yeah, I'm just keeping on adding more water without adding more pigment, and just dragging the pigment at the top down if I need more color. And we are going to be painting this till about halfway down the page and letting it dry.
I can see some of them trying to tape down the paper, so you might want to give it a pause for a bit.
Mhm. All right. Is everyone kind of at this stage-ish?
Can you see them, Joey? Zoe?
I can see their face cams, yes.
Oh, okay. Yeah, then you'll be able to
So,
see who's ready and who's not ready. Yeah, okay.
yeah. Um, if you'd like, you can also use the chat function to just ask questions or anything like that. But yeah, I'll give it another minute and then we'll start painting in some of the mountains. Yeah. Mountains were always one of my favorite things to paint. It's one of the first things I learned to paint with watercolor. And my dad, like I said, he likes to paint with watercolor. So we always were painting mountains. Sometimes we'd go up to Banff and stuff and paint like in like actually looking at mountains, and that was always a lot of fun. So now I'm going to start with painting the mountains, having a lot of pigment on my brush again, and working in lines like this. So you're shaping, oh, it's not entirely dry there. So you're shaping out how you want your mountains to look. It's okay if these ones are a little bit blending into the sky, as these are like more, this is the first layer of mountains, so they're going to be in the background more. And then just cleaning off your brush and dragging pigment down this. One thing about the mountains that you do want to keep in mind is lightening them up near the bottom, because if you keep them lighter near the bottom, like you can see on this, the lighter bottoms add like almost a misty effect in between the layers, which adds more depth to the painting. So if you have the tops of your mountains be darker and then the bottoms of them be a little lighter, it helps add like layering to your painting. And yeah. So there is the first layer of our mountains. Oh, Also, if you ever have like a spot on your painting that you're like, oh, that's way too dark, you can use paper towel to act as a sort of eraser. So if like if you're like, oh, that spot right there, that's way too dark, you can fold up a paper towel and it gets rid of a lot of the color and the water there, so it'll lighten it up and you can blend it right back in. So it's just a little bit lighter, like that. Yeah, so I'll wait for a couple minutes and then we'll start on the next layer of the mountains here.
Maybe some moderated growth expectations that are filtering into the equity and fixed income markets. There has
All right. If I'm going too fast, please let me know. I'm going to add in the second mountains here. And I'm going to do it the same way that I did the first layer of mountains. But these ones you want them to be just a little bit darker. So they're a little bit more bold in front. So that means having a little bit of a dry brush and getting a lot of pigment on your brush to make the paint nice and dark. And then doing the same kind of technique of dragging the paint down from the top. Yeah, and right now I'm just adding in some smaller peaks and some more like variation to the line of mountains that I have, just so it's a little bit more interesting. Because mountains are very like chaotic sometimes. So adding in a bunch of different like points and a little bit of some like smaller peaks and stuff like that help make them look a little bit more realistic. So yeah, those are our mountains. They're a little crooked, but yeah. So the next step is going to be painting in the bottom section here, which is very similar to the sky, but you want to keep the paint more even rather than the gradient that we were doing. So keeping the amount of paint on your brush even the whole time while you're painting, instead of it getting lighter. To keep like an even coat for the bottom kind of third of this painting. So this is like the like grass or field in the front. I don't know. Yeah. Just so we can give the mountains time to dry so the trees can be nice and like crisp on top. So for the top edge of this, you can add in like hills to it, or like one hill, or you can keep it flat, just like putting in a little bit of a taller part in the middle there or on the side or something. This is just kind of like the ground, so it's just where the trees are like growing from. So you can make it any sort of landscape-esque shape. All right, so this has to dry for a little bit, for maybe a minute or two. Yeah. So the trees are probably what takes the longest as you have to like add in the texture for each one. Um so I'm going to get started on those and yeah, so I'll go over the technique again on the canvas or the paper. So keeping your brush relatively dry with quite a bit of pigment on it and starting with the trunk of your tree and then going in with that um, texture for the leaves. And these trees can be like really tall or really short. Um, yeah, they're very simple and it's just like a silhouette of the tree really. So you can layer them and yeah. So there's our first little tree. And yeah. And sometimes I like to add like trees like this one in between other ones where you only have to add in just a couple of branches. You don't have to do them all. So, because it's like behind, right? So you can't see it as clearly. So you can also use a lighter color as well for those types of trees where they're further behind. Um, which just means like more water and a little bit less pigment on your brush to make them look lighter. The other thing you can do with trees is playing with like how dense of a tree they are. So like this one's a little bit more sparse. And then if you were to make one thicker, you just add like more leaves in like closer together so you can see less of the trunk, right? So this is a bit of a denser tree, so you can't really see the trunk in the middle there, and it looks more like one full shape compared to this one that is very sparse, where you can see a lot of the trunk and the leaves are spaced out more, right? So adding in variation like that helps it look like different kinds of trees. The great thing about painting something like mountains or trees is that because they're organic shapes, you don't really have to worry about them being perfect or perfectly straight or something because it's like natural, right? So they're always good things to start with because you don't have to worry about them looking perfect, right? Because no two trees are the same. So yeah, so there's our trees put in. We're going to add a little bit of texture to the mountains and then add in another layer of trees. The thing about watercolor is you have to like jump around through things because your paint has to dry in between different layers, right? Yeah. So in a minute we'll go and do some texture back on the mountains, but yeah. All right, so I'm going to start putting a little bit of texture into mountains. Again, if I'm going too fast, please let me know. Yeah, it's not much. It's just right at the top, really, because you want to keep that lighter color behind the trees, but just putting a little bit of a shadow on one side of the mountains um helps with depth, and yeah, it doesn't have to be much, but it does make quite the difference, just adding a little bit more character to them. And I'm even adding some of this texture to the back mountains, far behind, so they're like barely anything, but just a little bit more definition. And yeah, it just helps just add a little bit more to the mountains.
This is a very nice picture, Zoe.
Thanks. Yeah, yeah, something nice and simple, but very like it's cool to see what you can do with only one color of watercolor.
I know the mind-boggling thing is just one color, but look at the picture. It's
Yeah.
so beautiful.
It's watercolor is definitely cool that you can just with one color and a little bit of water you can do so
Yeah.
much. It's crazy.
Yeah, this is amazing.
Thanks. Yeah, so I'm going to just add in some more trees now. But like yeah. Um yeah, so that's just adding in some more detail for some of the fields, and the trees are kind of our final steps here. And they're definitely the ones that are going to take the longest. Because it's just adding in lots of like detail. So adding trees on top and things like that. Just to make some of your trees look a little bit fuller. And adding in some shorter, darker trees. All right, so the other thing that you can do now is to add in a little bit more like detail to the lower half here, is to add in some like just adding in some more darker colors to define your landscape. So adding in like different hills and stuff. And this is where you can add trees like here instead and like put trees like this. So it's for like lower down into the canvas and a little bit bigger because it's a little bit closer to like where you're seeing things from, I guess, your point of view. So some bigger trees at the front. Oh, yeah. And adding in some darker layers to add some more like dimension to the lower half here. You can also do this with some texture if you want, adding in like brush strokes to look like grass or plants. Yeah. So what I'm doing now is just adding in some darker details to help add some more like depth to things and stuff. It's kind of really in that like the painting is in that point where you're just kind of adding to whatever needs like more color or more of like a deeper tone to it or things like that, adding in like little grass stuff, little like more trees, darkening up colors or things like that. All right. I didn't think it would take this little amount of time, so um yeah, this is the painting. Um,
This is very nice, Zoe. Very, very nice.
thanks. Um, yeah. Um, this is-
It's almost nicer than the picture that you showed us, Zoe.
yeah, I was
Mm.
thinking that. I added much more detail on
You
this
see?
one.
Yeah, can you put them side by side? Just on the
Yeah.
screen? Oh my goodness, yours is so much better. Yeah, yours is way, way better. Awesome, Zoe.
Thanks. Yeah.
Well, if they are ready, they can show you what they have done.
Oh, absolutely. I'd love to see. I would say if you taped your paper down, wait for the paper to fully dry before taking the tape off, because otherwise, here, I'll show you on one of the practice ones I did. I took the paper off too early and
Ah,
it ripped my paper. So this was my original idea, and so
uh-huh.
I've built it up, but yeah, it the tape kind of rips the paper if it's still wet, so you gotta wait for it to dry. But
你要
that's
聽佢乾咗先正搣出嚟啊！如果佢唔乾，你想搣出嚟咧，佢張紙會爛噶。
明白，thank you。
And then 你家下你做水畫係咪？你嗰張紙咧，你要厚紙㗎，嗰啲厚嘅畫畫紙咧，如果你冇咧，我呢度有啊，你可以嚟我度拎。
係啊，我
嗯，
用咗 A3 嗰個畫簿嗰張紙啊。
嗱，如果畫畫咧，如果你做素描咧，素描係鉛筆畫啦嘛，素
係
描嗰啲紙都係厚嘅，不過唔夠厚。
哦，
尤其是水畫咧，要好厚㗎。我呢度
佢係咪有一隻咧？我見我屋企咧有一隻咧鞋地身嗰啲唔係㗎係嘛？唔係水畫㗎係嘛？
好難講啊，好難
哦，
講。如果有一種又叫做油畫喎，油
係
畫嗰啲又唔同㗎喎。
係
啊哈，你家下你睇下啦，你張紙會唔會炒？
少少啊，有巢啊，
少少
就唔
少少炒
夠厚咯喎，
實有嘅，
就唔夠厚咯喎呢張。
唔知咧。Zoe，no
Mm-hmm.
matter what paper you use, it will wrinkle a little bit, right?
Yeah. So,
Mm.
I've used paper that is like the best watercolor paper you could possibly buy, and it still wrinkles a bit.
係咯，
That's just because like the water like loosens up the paper a little bit.
à.
Yeah.
係咯。老師話你就算點厚都好啊，個紙唔多唔少都會有多少巢巢地㗎。
哦，明白。即係乾咗就 OK 嘅。佢有冇話特別用咩紙啊？
佢呢一個係咯，係水畫嘅紙啦，又
水畫嘅
又厚
紙
嗰啲啦。不過佢都會巢少少，所以佢黏住佢啊嘛。
係。
佢話你
明白
黏住佢咧，你就面巢咯。
哦，OK，
你哋
因為嗰本係
乾咗
簿嚟㗎，所以我就冇好似佢咁樣黏實佢咯。
啊，你咁黏實佢咧，你哋係乾咗，你先至掹出嚟係咪？咁我就唔會巢啦。老師講。
哦，明白，唔該晒。你點稱呼啊？
我叫做阿 May。
阿 May 你好啊，唔該晒你啊。
你好，唔使。
Thank you。
係咯，如果你需要嗰啲紙咧，你同我講，我呢度有紙。
哦，好啊，
我
即係喺你嗰邊買咯喎。
我呢度有少少㗎，你唔使。
哦，thank you。如果我要買咧，我應該去邊度買啊？係咪水畫紙啊？寫住
啊？
係咪水畫紙啊？寫住，如果我要買，
係寫水畫紙㗎。
英文係乜嘢？如果水畫紙
Watercolour paper 呀。
哦，watercolour paper。
係咯。我呢度有，你可以拎翻去試下先。你翻去試下，睇下我呢張紙會唔會好啲？如果係好啲，你通常咧，你可以去 Michael 嗰度買㗎。
哦，Michael 咧，
係Michael，你聽佢有40% off嗰陣時咧，執不時都有個 coupon 㗎嘛。一係30%，一係40%，你聽佢40% 嗰陣時咪好抵㗎。
係 OK，好啊，唔該晒你阿 May。
如果你要啲紙，你同我講咧，你可以嚟我度睇下啱唔啱你。
好嘅 ，thank you。
咩啊？我都用晒啲紙啊，你俾啲我。
你用晒啊？我幾時見到你啊？
你幾時見到都見到我噶係嘛？
係咯，呢排好似我要17號先開教堂嘅，你睇下你幾時咯？
我17號咯，17號先唔緊要，我唔趕。
OK 啦
OK，thank you 啦吓。
阿 May 啊，我想問下咧，我哋下個禮拜要準備啲乜嘢㗎？因為我都唔知個水彩畫需要準備啲乜嘢。
Zoe, can you show them the materials you need for this class? They want to know that.
For this class, any sort of watercolor palette. So it could be like mine that I kind of like filled myself.
Can you show them the
it could,
cover so that they know what to buy? Show them the cover of your.
that one is blank, but
Oh.
there's also like any watercolor palette, like this one works well. It's different colors, obviously, but a watercolor palette like this works. This is the brand that I mostly use. It's called Winsor and Newton, and they look kind of like this, but it's a little bit on the pricier side. So I would recommend Artist's Loft. You can buy it at Michael's. Like any sort of watercolor palette. I'll go get the paper that I use really quick because it's in like a block, so I'll be back in a second.
水畫呢啲墨咧，呢啲水畫嗰啲顏色咧，Dollar Store 都有㗎。不過 Dollar Store 嗰啲
Superstore 啊
，Dollar Store 有好多嘅。不過
，Superstore 係咪啊？
嗰啲我唔主張喺 Dollar Store 賣水畫，because 佢好多乾晒㗎。
哦，
All right.
咁你喺
This
邊度買㗎？你會係
Michael 咯。OK，有
Michael
喺邊度嚟
Michael 有
㗎？
呢一本啊，Michael 有呢一本。
我影影先。
Yeah, can you put it
我
down?
讀
They want to
錯
take a picture.
this
Thank you.
paper, yes.
Yeah, thank you.
And I just cut it to whatever size I use.
你唔使買咁大本嘅，呢個係11乘15寸啊嘛，你可以買細本啲嘅。細
OK，
本啲嘅好似一半咁細，係咪？差唔多係
係
700
A4
蚊。
紙㗎咯喎，好似係一本，呢個 A4 紙嚟㗎嘛呢個。
呢個大個 A4，呢個
大個
11
A4
乘
紙
15啦嘛。
邊買
啊，
過
佢一
？OK
半咁大嘅，應該係700蚊咁樣一本，7蚊8蚊咁樣一本嘅。
OK，即係嗰啲係咪 A4 紙啊？嗰啲
你講咩紙啊？
A4 啊，影
唔
印紙嗰啲
係唔
A4
係
紙啊？
唔係，呢啲係畫畫紙嚟㗎。
畫畫紙 OK，
嚇
明白。咁我應該喺邊度買啊？我想知。
，Michael 啊，
Michael 喺邊度嚟㗎？
你住邊度啊？
我住75Cougar。
哦
阿 May，
，Cougar Ridge 啊
Walmart 都有啫。
Signal Hill 嗰度有個 Michael 㗎。
西好Hill 嗰度有㗎，有間
Signal
Michael。
Hill 有個 Michael 㗎，有。
係啊，點讀啊？嗰個 Michael，我上網 search 先。
Walmart 都有啊，May。
嚇
Walmart 都有得賣啊。
，Walmart 都有得賣，不過你 Michael 睇，如果
都
你
有啊。
有，
係
佢有
啊
㗎，佢咪有 Watercolour
你買嗰
㗎。
本幾多錢啊，Louis？
我唔記得咗咯。
I've used that paper before. It's good.
Walmart 都有嘅。咁
Walmart 都有，不過你一
水
定要買
彩喺邊度買啊？
Watercolour。
啊
一定
，Louis，
要
你正喺個鏡嗰度，你正喺個鏡嗰度俾佢睇一睇。
係啦，唔該晒。
呢個
我呢個 Walmart 買嘅，
呢
咩
個
size 嚟㗎？你個？
我呢個係9寸乘12寸
哦，即係夠㗎啦，係咪？呢個9寸。
，9 inch。
啊，我覺得大啲咯。
呢個咧
都大咗啊，都呢個。
同我哋以前做嗰啲咧
細啲
呢個
啦。
A4
係一半啊，
呢啲 A4 紙咯，呢啲就。
呢個係一半啊，
係咯係咯。
OK。
我 cut 出嚟嘅係一半啊。
即係 A4 紙已經夠㗎咯喎，一半。
啊，你買大啲，你咪用一半咯，唔緊要㗎。
我而
OK。
家咪用一半咯，
係咯係咯，用一半
而
咯。
家用一半咯。
咁我想知水彩喺邊度買啊？你哋
哎呀，
啲水彩喺邊度買啊？
我呢個 Dollar Store 嘅啫。
嗰度有得買啊
？Dollar Store 有，Dollar Store 有。
係咯，咁去嗰啲地方買咪得咯，變咗
我買呢個好 cheap 嘅。
啊，
游
Dollar
到
Store 有。
就得咯，冇所謂啦，最緊要游到啫嘛，係咯。因為我頭先我嗰啲都唔夠用啊，即係佢冇指定用。
你哋次次都話你跟老師咁樣學係咪？你畫出嚟嘅嘢冇老師咁靚啦，係唔係啊？有兩個原因㗎，一個咧梗係經驗啦，係咪啊？人哋畫多啲過你啊嘛。第二咧係個材料，
冇錯，
材料爭好遠㗎。
係咯，佢用咩材料啊？可唔可以問下老師？佢係
佢嘅材料喺 Michael 嗰度買㗎。
哦 ，Michael 嗰度買嘅。Michael 係點寸啊？Michael
啊？
係咯
，Michael 啊。
MIC 乜鬼嘢？
啊 ，MICH。
Michael， 我睇
AELS。
等陣啊。MICH
AELS。
AELS。Michael。
Ethan, are you there?
Yeah.
Can you do a share screen and pull up Michael's on the screen? Michael's the craft store.
呢個 Michael。
I have.
工藝品嗰度。
I don't have host.
Oh, you don't have host. You're not even co-host?
No. I can create a shopping list and send it off.
喺識好有喎呢個 Michael。
I was thinking I could also do that I can make a shopping list or something for next week.
Yeah, please. Yeah, I think that'll be very nice. I think, yeah.
Okay.
Zoe, can you book with Ethan to kind of, if you can show picture, is better. Like the words are not going to be meaningful to them.
Yeah, I'll take photos of stuff and I'll send photos and links of things.
And your brushes as well.
Yeah. The brushes I use are a little bit they're like the insane quality ones, but I'll send some great cheaper quality ones that are
I think
really
we
good.
do the beginner level stuff
Yeah.
first, but something better than dollar store. Dollar store paint supply tend to be a little bit yucky.
Yeah, I'll send things that are all at Michael's that are all like well priced.
Yeah，個先生佢會做一個圖章啊，即係講要買啲乜嘢乜嘢乜嘢
誒好啊好啊，係啊，係佢 send 俾我哋啊，變咗我哋有晒啲材料先可以跟佢做啊嘛。
係咯，不過你 Michael 咧，如果你買原價好貴嘅，Michael 係貴嘅地方嚟㗎，你要聽佢出 coupon 嘅，佢個個星期都有嘅，一係30%，一係40%，
係
要個 coupon 先至好去買。
哦 ，coupon 啊
有㗎，佢個個星期都有㗎。
係咩？咁佢通常點樣search 到佢幾時會有 coupon 啊？
係啦，如果你上去個網站，佢個網站嗰度會有㗎。
哦，好啊 ，thank you 啊，唔該晒，哇，真係好遠喎，30%、40%。
係啊，尤其是你捉到
你
佢。
可唔可以列埋咧？我哋需要買啲乜嘢？其實，如果我哋都冇材料喺度畫咁啊，變咗
有，老師會準備嗰個。
啊 ，thank you 啊，唔該晒啊。
Ethan.
Yeah.
Do you have everybody's name here and their emails? So we need to send them that.
I have everyone's names. I can look for their emails.
Can you make sure you do have them? If you don't now, you can ask them. And also include the Michael's link.
Yep. Okay.
你哋個 email 交咗俾我哋噶啦
嗬？係啊，有噶啦。
OK。
阿咩人，我想知你啊，你幾號電話？可唔可以有乜嘢可以直接問你啊
？403。
你等陣先嚇，等我一陣，我睇一睇先。因為你都有學㗎嘛，係咪啊
？403-547。
你等先嚇，你係咪都有學㗎？你都有學㗎係嘛？
我睇下啫。
我以為你有學添，你等我一陣，因為如果你有學，我入邊我問你會方便啊嘛。403幾多啊
？547。
547
621
6215。
Patty Lam.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
And
阿咩啊？403-547-6幾啊
？6215。
6215 403-547-6215。Thank you.
Patina.
我另外一個係邊位同事嚟㗎？頭先嗰位Dixon嚟㗎？
頭先嗰個係 Ethan。
Ethan 嚟嘅，佢有負責呢個咩嘅呢個項目嘅。
係啦，呢個節目係去照顧嘅。
好啊。佢可唔可以佢俾 email 我哋打埋佢嗰啲資料啊？
佢會㗎啦，佢家下就係拎緊你哋嘅 email 啦。Who do you need, Ethan?
Is this Patina?
Yes, I'm Patina. Yes.
Patina, you okay?
佢淨係識講英文㗎咋，阿美。
係啦，呢個土生㗎。
我
啲好啦，
識講英文都好好。
係啊 ，thank you， 學埋英文啦，而家喺度。
多好多啦，
Next person is Alice Labine.
Alice Labine? Is that you, Alice?
No, I am Ali.
Oh, Ali. Oh, yeah, Ali.
Yes.
There's a person named Alice in the call.
Yes, Ali.
Ali, your last name is Yusuf, right? Yusuf?
Yeah.
Ali, do you need any supplies?
No.
You have the paper and the paint and all that, Ali?
Yeah, we have something.
Okay.
But I am listening to Michael. Michael, I think it's so expensive. You can go Amazon.
No. Yeah, with
Amazon. Amazon.
Yeah.
Amazon.
Amazon
yes,
is more
correct.
cheaper.
Correct.
Another place.
Thank you.
That's Ali. I don't know who Alice is.
I don't have Ali's email either.
No, if you look at the English class, Donna's English class, Ali was there.
Donna.
Yeah.
It's spelled different. Ali Joma?
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, Ali Juma,
Okay.
yeah.
Yes, thank you.
Jomaa, yeah.
Okay.
Sylvia, I have a question for you.
Yeah, what's up?
How many weeks are you doing watercolor and what's next?
Hopefully for the next 4 weeks at least. If you guys really like watercolor, we can continue with it. Next week, this is my I was going to add more to it, but this is my current plan for next week is potted plants like this, and we're gonna do a bunch of flowers like that.
So
Uh-huh.
nice.
Good. The green
Yeah, so
one.
that's the
The
plan.
green one.
This
And
Red
brown,
and green.
the brown color.
the brown color and green. I don't have the names of the colors. I think the green I used mostly sap green, and then terracotta and burnt sienna, I think were the colors I used for the bottom.
Okay. Awesome.
Yeah, but like any sort of brown works and things like that, but that's going to be the plan for next week.
Okay.
阿 May 啊，可唔可以嗌佢哋咧？俾晒啲資料我哋咧，咁我哋去亞馬遜嗰度買翻嚟，唔係變咗方便咯。
Amazon 都得Amazon 都得。
咁佢話平啲嘛，咁我直接喺乜亞馬遜嗰度。
Amazon 係唔係平啲？唔敢講啊，喂。
係啊，OK，唔緊要喎。咁我上網 search 嗰個 Michael 嗰度幾多錢？
你 Amazon 都係買中國嘢㗎咋？
係啊，哦，
你
佢係中國嘢嚟㗎嘛？
你去 Dollarama 你都係買中國嘢㗎咋？咁
其實我哋喺一元店啦，或者喺嗰個 Walmart 啦，都買到呢啲嘢㗎嘛。其實
係啦，如果你去 Michaels 咧，如果老師佢自己嘅材料，佢自己都喺 Michaels 買啦嘛。
OK，
都我哋就知道，即係講 Michaels 嗰啲畫畫啲材料比較好啲咯。
係啊。
咁你畫出嚟都似樣啲咁樣咯。
係啊。咁係咯，我想知係 Michael 嗰度係咯，我見佢 Signal Hill 嗰度有間 Michael。
有啊，Signal Hill 嗰度有間。
係啊，我見佢不過我唔知幾時係有係咪個 search 到佢嗰個網頁就知道幾時有。
係啊，你每一次上網，Are you still able to get online? Ethan, I still want to show the Michael's webpage.
I don't have.
Zoe,
No, you can grab it back from
our work today.
I can grab it back.
you should be able to grab it back
Sure,
from
absolutely. I'd love to see it.
Yeah.
No,
Oh, Ali, you gonna show us your work today?
Yes. This one.
Hi, Nancy.
Oh,
Nancy.
that's really pretty.
Can you give me a co-host?
Wow.
Good co-host.
That's very nice. I like it.
Hi, Ethan.
Thank you. Thank you. Let's see.
I'll make you co-host now.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, 聽陣。俾你睇嗰個 we'll show you the Michael's website because the Michael's website always has the coupon there.
You see it?
Yes, I can see.
嗱，佢通常佢擺and is this Michaels.ca? You're on .com. Is this Michaels Canada that you're on?
No, it is. Green.
通常你見喺上高嗰度係咪？佢會擺㗎，佢會擺一個 coupon 咧。上高呢度你會睇到啊，喺今次冇啊。
OK。
Can you click on the coupons？呢30% 啦，今個星期30%啊。
哦，呢個星期即係成個星期都有㗎咯喎。
Can you make the 30% coupon bigger?
啊
Pardon?
Can you make the 30% coupon bigger? 呢個咧到幾時啊？呢個到9月11號。
OK，thank you。
嗱，呢個 coupon 咧1時30，1時40。
OK，thank you。咁佢嗰個係咪可唔可以上網買㗎呢啲？
上網得，不過上網佢有你唔知要買40蚊定乜鬼嘢㗎？
哦，OK。
Thank
you。
你見到個 coupon 咧，你可以影張相。你影張相，你擺喺你個電話嗰度咧，你去 Michaels 嗰度買咧，你 check out 嗰陣時咧，你就俾張相去睇就得㗎啦。
OK，即係佢係某部分係有 discount 定全部嘅其實？
如果係已經減價嘅嘢咧，就唔會 discount 嘅。
OK，明白。
如果係原價嘅嘢咧，就 discount 俾你。
明白。Thank you，唔該，阿 May。
唔使。OK。Thank you so much, Zoe.
Yeah, no worries.
That was a fantastic lesson, Zoe.
I'm glad you liked it.
下個星期見啦，大家。
好啊
Okay,
thank you，
bye.
拜拜。